Best day of the damn week. Best day. Colby, why is Tuesday the best day? Full slate, no day baseball. We get to sweat it out before we go to bed. What's going on, everybody? Colby Marchero here with Danny Burke on the Pickoff, presented by Betting News, powered by the one and only Bet Online. Danny, we're back. Best day of the week. You and I get to share it together every single week. The best day ever here on the Pickoff. As always, best day of the week. I'm going to say best day of the week as many possible times as I can because you don't understand how much I love Tuesdays. Not a big fan of any other day because for some reason, the slate is just on Tuesdays. Saturday, there's day games, and then they're sprinkled around, and it's really random. Tuesdays, you eat dinner, and they're all on. It's the best.
I love me some Tuesdays as well. And not only because of that, obviously love being on air with you, my friend. But yeah, Saturdays, you get a good day game slate. Don't hate it. Sundays, you got that, a little bit, all right, how can I make some back on Sunday, before the end of the week if you struggle during it. But yeah, Thursday's brutal for baseball. Friday's hit or miss, but yeah, I find myself, and not only because we're doing this, but Tuesdays I tend to have more plays than usual. So the full slate certainly helps. The pitching matchups, the rotations kind of fall in line with guys that I typically like to avoid. So it works out nice for us.
Yeah, Friday's also the other Tuesday, but it never has that feel because sometimes you get the 120 start in North Side. But yeah, I don't view Fridays the same as I view Tuesdays. Maybe it's because it helps you get through the week. Maybe it's that. Maybe I just like that little extra boost because yesterday was Monday. But we have a ton to talk about. And by a ton, I mean, yes, we're talking about the inevitable MVP race in the AL. Cal Raleigh yesterday broke the record for the most home runs hit by a catcher in an MLB season. It is only August 26th. So congratulations to him for breaking that record, reaching that feat, because that is awesome. Wow, is anyone else shocked that he pulled it? Nope. No, we're not. But I'll give him his flowers. Just had to throw that little shade in there.
Oh, man. Well, it's solidified, though, now, right? I mean, he's got the MVP. It's over. We don't even have to talk about it now that he set the home run record there. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good show. We tried. Rip up our Judge MVP tickets. Enough said. Nothing else matters.
Yeah, we were 1,000% wrong. It was always Cal Raleigh. It was always a guy that only hits home runs. It was just if you hit home runs, they waltz the award to your house. Mm-hmm. And they place it on that big rear end that we can't stop talking about.
Put it on a nice platter right there for you. Yeah, batting average doesn't matter. WOBA doesn't matter. None of that. Who cares?
OPS.
Yeah.
I don't know. Batting average. Oh, you mentioned that. Yeah. It's just
BABIP, slugging.
When you're playing terribly, the team still wins games. That shouldn't happen. Right. Weird. Meanwhile, the guy in New York, we thought that team wasn't going to make the playoffs until he came back. Sure, he's not hitting the greatest right now. Hit a double yesterday, though. Danny, can you just do it for me and just say what is the one reason Cal Raleigh should win the award? I don't want to make this the same thing I did yesterday where I complained about how can anyone have that argument, because I would like to somehow find the argument for everybody else that can somehow not give it to me. Nobody really has given me any reason to be like, okay, this is a really good argument. Nobody has delivered any stat outside of insulting where Judge plays when he has great numbers on the road. That is also the laziest take of all time. If you're somebody who wants to mention the short porch in Yankee Stadium, then we can go and talk about Fenway. No one ever talks about Fenway because The shortest home runs in MLB history have been hit at Fenway Park. People forget that for some reason. Also, go look at how short the foul poles are in Seattle, because they're also short, and they're also a prime spot for a guy to pull everything, which Cal Raleigh does. I'll stop slandering him. Danny, do we have anything nice to say about him? We did with the home run, but excluding that, what do we have?
Outside of that, again, I'm playing devil's advocate here, so it's not something that I actually put stock into, but RBIs, 107, a big difference, relatively speaking, from Aaron Judge's 93, if that's where you want to go. And then I know everybody talks about the defensive capabilities, but how much are people really putting that into account for an MVP
I
race?
wonder
When
that.
you
I
think of
wonder
an
that too.
MVP, yeah, and I guess we'll find out after this year, right? I mean, I think to a certain extent we will. When you think about MVPs in the past, how often do you think, like, man, that guy was a defensive menace? Like, that's the first thing that pops to your mind? No. I mean, is it a great bonus? Absolutely. Do you have to give credit in that department if he performs well? For sure. But is that going to be the great and ultimate separator between Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh? If it is, then this is just absolute ludicrous. Yeah, good guy. Good guys finish last though, so it's not going to help him in this department.
I think
unless
we
they
should
market
keep
him
this
well enough.
banner up the whole show. We will not bring up any props that we have.
Guy.
Just a good guy. And I will say, Cal has been unstoppable behind the plate this year. I believe they have 0 pass balls. I saw a stat last week, and I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. But also, if we want to incorporate everything that the catcher position has to do, then we have to talk about the rotation he manages. Because if you want to talk about the toll and whatnot and what he has to do behind the plate, his pitching rotation since July has a WAR that is the 10th worst in the league and an ERA that is 10th worst in the league. If we're not going to add in that, then we're not going to have a civil conversation, which nobody can clearly have. Again, I just want somebody to give me something that isn't an opinion. Which is the problem with arguments in sports, and I understand that. We all love to get into arguments, but when I feel like I'm delivering a really good argument without my bias baked in, which I try to never have, and I have actual stats that genuinely matter, while other people are telling me to go play catcher, that's not an argument. That's you grabbing sticks and hoping it sticks somewhere. Stick on stick crime. That's what I basically just said. I'm just lost.
No, as you should be. And again, the one thing that is kind of the outlier here, and we talk about it with all these awards, the human element of emotion and recency bias. And that's what we talk about in betting in general all the time. But we do have to remember that it is human beings voting on this award. It's not going through a statistical machine, a computer that's going to churn out who's the most deserving for most valuable player. And maybe that's the way it should be to some extent. But the MLB voters are obviously very unique, right? Because they're very hard pressed, and they're very conservative with, obviously, in terms of, like, say, Hall of Fame guys who get admitted, right? So it's really strict with all of these things that get implemented into that process. And you would imagine that to some lengths, it's got to be the same here with awards. But then the question begs, all right, well, certainly Cal Raleigh's the guy who's been getting propped up by Major League Baseball marketing-wise, Home Run Derby. It's a nice story out there, the big nickname, everything. So how much is it kind of them getting pushed into that direction versus them still being really stuck up about, no, I'm going to the statistical advantage here, which if it's that argument, Colby, there is no discourse to be had. I mean, it's Aaron Judge. It's game over, right?
Yeah.
You're giving the home run leader to Cal Raleigh, Gold Glove, whatever you want to do behind the plate, that's completely fine. But that's what it should be, the statistical measurement for it, and it shouldn't even be getting this close. And I think we are slowly but surely seeing this being reflected in the odds. And again, this is going to be a good litmus test going forward, or just kind of a basis to work off of. Because again, you and I talked about this, say, a month ago when he was around even money, maybe minus 120, minus 125.
Yeah,
you talked about Yeah. And you talk about relative value now, certainly compared to what he was preseason. No, that's not a good price. But if you take everything into context, even though you relate to that, there's still value at that point based on what we assumed he was going to end up at. And now he's hovering over -$2, somewhere around there. So that's still value, relatively speaking. And I think knowing if he does come through as the MVP going forward, then we can kind of rest easy if we get a similar situation like this going down the road, that all right, these voters are going to stay true. They're not going to get swayed by the recency fun and what the MLB is trying to push with the player. They're still getting down to brass tacks and the rightful winner, which should be Aaron Judge if the season were to end today.
Yeah, I would be. I don't know how I would feel if they voted for Cal and he won it, because then just hypothetical, he wins it. Every sport weighs the MVP award differently. NFL, it's typically a quarterback, and then the best skill position wins Offensive Player of the Year. I think sometimes the argument with baseball, at least, people forget it's not an Offensive Player of the Year award. And if it was, we would give it to Cal, when it still probably should be both Judge. Like, there's Judges up on so many stats on Cal that the home run technique, in my opinion, doesn't matter. Judge has 83 points higher on his on-base percentage than Cal. He's on 100 over points on his OPS and almost 100 points higher on his average. Like, if that doesn't matter, what are we doing? The home run weighs that much? Somebody said yesterday it's the most valuable hit. Yeah, but when that's all you do, that doesn't mean anything to me. You're Adam Dunn.
Well, and if
you're Adam Dunn that plays great catch.
Yeah, and look,
36% K percentage. Almost 40% of the time you are striking out since July. And then 40% plus of your hits since July are long balls. You've more strikeouts than hits. Again, 40% of his hits, home runs. 40% strikeout rate. It's insanity.
And if you're talking about value of a hit, again, you and I kind of laugh at it in terms of WAR. But if you want to go down that road, then obviously the offensive advantage still resides with Aaron Judge. Where if you look at Fangraphs, offensive WAR, Aaron Judge at 55.5, Cal Raleigh's at 39.1. We're a broken record at this point, but the fact that it still keeps getting brought up, especially when you're making posts about it, it's just obviously biased, and people like the fun aspect of it, trying to get a guy like Cal Raleigh in there. But again, this is where we're going to find out if MLB is kind of, really changing in a new direction, trying to get that fun new audience perspective, because Cal's kind of that fun, goofy guy, or they're still getting down to business with Aaron Judge. And again, let's, in terms of plate appearances, it's like 31 fewer at-bats for Aaron Judge versus Cal Raleigh, something like that, 8-game difference. So that would certainly impact the RBI differential there, right? And home runs, maybe you give a couple to Judge. It's not going to do anything too crazy, but still worth noting if someone brings up, say, the RBI differential. Do you now?
I'm not going to bet it. The price is definitely terrible, but I think he does.
Yeah, never fun.
I think it's very interesting too, because if you like zoom out and look at the AL race, it's not a race. There's no race there. And then you look at the AL and NL race, it's kind of the same thing. Guy that's won the MVP before, the other guy that's second, Kyle Schwarber, kind of the same guy as Cal Raleigh. Aaron Judge has won the award before. And then the continuing of voter fatigue. And somebody also mentioned, I think it was Weston, mentioned it's a down year for MVP candidates. If it's a down year, it should go to the most obvious choice. It's very obvious. It's Shohei again. It's Judge again. And then Ghost over here is complaining that another Yankee's going to win the award. Outside of Judge, who's won the award? A-Rod? There's not many Yankees to win the MVP in the last 30 years of life that I've had. So.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, obviously, which you did address yesterday, that people just don't want to see someone from the Yankees get the MVP, right? It's just anti-Yankees. So, again, the voters are not taking that
and I said this yesterday. I understand if you hate the Yankees, but don't prove that to me in your argument. You know what I mean? Like, nothing more I hate than an argument being your bias. And I can't respect you. I can't respect your genuine take if it's simply off bias and hatred.
Mm-hmm. And again,
Give Babe Ruth
that's
back
just going to
to
be the
Boston.
public.
Yeah, true. True. That's a good comment. Oh, all right. I think we beat this horse to death. We can do this next week, though, Danny.
Okay, so I'm actually, this is kind of crazy right now. So I was wrong. So he's not, okay, when I checked a couple days ago, he was around that -$2 price. I'm seeing him now at
130.
-105. Yeah, -105 at a book here in Illinois, too. And then
Should I
they
be
have Cal
concerned?
Raleigh -115.
Should I be concerned?
Well, you have to also factor in that, again, when these books are moving these lines, it's just because of the volume that they're getting in, right? You know, you want to get equal action on both sides. So you could have gotten a big influx on Cal Raleigh. Now you're trying to balance it out by tempting some wagers coming in on Aaron Judge. So the futures
It's
market
true.
operates a little bit differently than a typical betting line, right? On a standard
That's
game-to-game
true.
basis. So in a book that it's at right now, I don't think it's something I'd be freaking out about too much. Again, it could just be something to where, hey, maybe invest. If you're as passionate about it as Colby and I are, and you haven't jumped in on the ship, or you have and you still have conviction, now may be the time to do so at -105. Make sure you shop around.
Seriously. Shop. I hate doing it every week, but it's so fun to talk about, even though I get really amped up about it. But it is a fun conversation. And I love the discourse. And I love thinking I'm right, and I love being proved wrong. It's the beauty of what we do, Danny. You're going to be wrong. You can't be afraid to
That's
be
right.
wrong. So if Cal wins it, tip your caps, because baseball is going in a different direction, and that is we're marketing the crap out of a guy with a big ass. And I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2025. It's the year of the butt. Last year was the year of the chest. But let's get into some more future talk. Let's get into more of a bigger, broader picture. Because I keep getting asked this when I go on other shows. And that is, who do I think's coming out of the AL? Who do I think is a threat? And my response, and I hate that this is my response, Danny, every time I just say, I don't know. If you told me I had $100 and I could put it on whoever, I don't think I have a strong enough case for any team. And then I leaned on the thought of maybe it's the Blue Jays, but I still don't have confidence. And I just always end with whoever makes it out isn't winning it. And I feel like I need to find a team, Dan. I think I need to find an AL team.
First of all, I want to say I agree with your sentiment that whoever makes it out is not winning it. I think the National League certainly is a deeper league. We've been talking about this ad nauseum, but that clearly is the case. In terms of the AL, why don't we go through like teams that you already don't want to have to back, right? Like teams that you're already counting out who are going to be in the playoffs. So we know you're going to be anti-Mariners, assuming they make it. So we're getting them off the list.
I might have to be on them.
You can't.
You know what I mean? Like
you cannot be on them at this point.
I think about it, I'm like, they keep winning. They keep winning. You know what? I think what's going to happen is if they go over their win total, I might just be like, you know what? Let's just ride this thing. But ride
then
this.
Know it's going to just be reversed then because you're going to get screwed both ways. So.
Oops. Oops, I pulled my mask off, Danny. I told you so.
Dude's holding the Cal Raleigh MVP ticket alongside it.
I parlay it. Them to make it out of the AL, him win an MVP.
Little happiness hedge for you. All right, let's talk about, you and I were talking about this before the show started, the Boston Red Sox, who obviously picked up steam here in the second half of the season. I am anti-Boston, but you put it good. I mean, they're a fun team. The offense can come alive here and there, but they've got no pitching depth. You get past the Southpaw Garrett Crochet, they've got nobody. You're going to trust Bayo. You're going to trust Giolito in the postseason. Absolutely.
Don't forget Dustin May, baby, the biggest threat they got. That's a threat.
Yeah, for sure. That's a team that I'm definitely crossing off. I don't want anything to do with them in the postseason.
I told you before, I ripped up my Guardians ticket. That team is not making the postseason. They suck. They don't even look like they're trying. I don't know if I'm going to get my 30-30 home run parlay with with Lindor and Ramirez. Hopefully they just go on a tear in September, but I'm chalking up all my futures as L's, and I can live with that because they're futures. Like, they're all guesses. To me, futures are guesses. They're like, I have a take and lean on this. I have confidence, whatever. But I'm out on the Tigers. I
am too.
I will argue they are heating up right now. Offensively, their bats are starting to roll. They took 8 years to get going last night. Finally came through in the 6th inning. If you took the 6th inning for them to score in the 6th, smart on you. I did as well. It was plus 170. Is stupid price for a team that had guys on what felt like every inning and in scoring position every inning. But you take out Skubal, how good is that team? And last night, they lost with Skubal. A nuke grand slam hit off them. How good are they? Who on that rotation is dangerous enough to get them also another win? You know what I mean? I don't have like, Paddock gonna get you a win? No. Paddock is not gonna get you a win. If their offense is deadly, I think when they're humming, they're very, very good. They're young, they're talented. Gleyber Torres has been a fantastic get for them. God, I love Gleyber. I miss you so much. But I love the whole lineup. I think it's dangerous. It's just not a AL winning team.
I agree with you. I am not sold on this Tigers team. Regular season bunch, sure. Like you said, lack of depth or dominance, I suppose you could say, outside of Skubal. And it's just like you've been coasting throughout this weak AL Central for quite some time. And I don't know. There's just a lot of reasons to not buy into this Tigers team after last year. I mean, again, they've been great this year, arguably the best team in the American League. Certainly the record says it. But if we're talking outside of there, looking at predictions, yeah, you can make the case. I'm not going to be the one to do it. I wanted to ask you this, so, based on odds, I don't have them right in front of me, but certainly there's going to be a little bit more value with, say, a team like Houston as opposed to Detroit. Now, would you rather take a little bit of a longer shot on a team like Houston, who, if they get their pitching staff correct, they have a little bit more depth in that regard, you could argue, than Detroit? Got a nice piece coming back, got the experience. Would it be crazy to think the Astros to me are a team that just loses the first round or they make it to the ALCS? I don't think there's really an in-between.
I think I would rather back Houston. They get Jordan back tonight, which honestly doesn't move the needle for me at all. I think Jordan is very overrated. I think he's the most dangerous hitter when he's hot, and when he's not, he is the worst. He's either going to over-deliver or he's going to be one of the biggest disappointments of all time. And I think the team's good without him. I don't think they need him. I really don't think they need him. He hasn't been there since when?
Even better case.
The beginning. When was he there last? The beginning of the season? And still, he was struggling. It's because also he needs good bats around him to make him better. And no ghost, no love for the Royals.
May 2nd was the last time we saw him.
And how many home runs does he have? 4?
I did not see that, but yeah, probably. But here's the thing. He's a guy where, like, in a playoff setting, you don't need the consistency. You just need him to be clutch in the big moments. And such a, dominant force there at the plate just brings that intimidation factor and adds a different element to how you strategically go against him if you're the opposing team, where every single hit and run and walk matters. So that is a huge dynamic that is being added to their lineup at a crucial time.
Yeah, I think I would rather take Houston, a long shot on Houston to make it out of the AL than the Tigers. Because, one, I have a lot of respect for that front office, their developing staff. They're one of the best teams. They're one of the best run teams in baseball, in my opinion. Get your thoughts get those thoughts of them cheating out of your mind. It's been long gone. They don't do it anymore. And they've proven time and time again, they know ball, they know how to develop ball, and they're going to continue to win no matter who's out there. Jeremy Pena is awesome. They got Carlos Correa back. Altuve looks good enough. everyone on that team, I think, can contribute in a big way. Like, they're kind of, you could make the argument they're kind of like the Brewers, but I think they're a lot more dangerous.
Oh, for sure. There's no question they're more dangerous. With that experience and kind of, yeah, just like knowing how to win in this postseason environment and having a collective crew that has been there. And it's just like every year you think they're going to flatline and fall off, and they refuse to do so. Um, moving, or I got to ask you about your Yankees, of course. I got to ask you about the legitimacy with them. And I do want to ask you specifically about one pitcher, Luis Heel. That's how you pronounce it, right? Heel is his last name. Is he somebody who can be, I mean, assuming he's going to be in the rotation if they get past the wild card, right? You know, they go on, he's going to have to pitch some point here. I'm tempted to like back him in some of these regular season situations. I think I did the other day, maybe when they faced the Red Sox and lost. Nevertheless, I mean, they need a third guy. They need a third arm there. And is it enough to trust him coming around to think that this team, pardon me, can make that postseason run?
Can I tell you something I'm more scared about? I'm more scared of the downfall of Carlos Rodon, because that is beyond due. Beyond due. Unless he's just having this return, whatever you want to say, I think he's due for a bad postseason. I don't trust him. I have never trusted him. Luis Gil, I think it's Gil. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We know what we're talking about. I don't know. I think last year he had a lot of luck because towards the end of the season he was not as good as he was in the beginning of the year, which I think is just part of being a rookie pitcher. You don't have much scouting report, so you get that little upper hand. But that rotation scares me. I think if the offense is humming, that can be dangerous. They're starting to get their rhythm back. Yesterday, scoring 10 runs. Jazz has looked fantastic this week. What does he got? 4 home runs, 3 home runs, whatever. When that offense is on, they're very dangerous, but they are my favorite team, and I know what they can. You know what scares me? Volpe in the postseason, when he's got those airmails going into the stands, killing somebody. Get him off. Get him off. I don't think his bat is as good as his defense. You know what I mean? I don't think his bat can overcompensate for what catastrophes he's about to perform on the field. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of question marks with that team. And I think there's a lot of question marks for every AL team, which is the problem on why I can't find a team I like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's where it's like, people are asking you. I mean, the obvious answer, at least to you and I, is the Toronto Blue Jays. But is there going to be value to be had there? Yes or no? That's why I think you probably go with more of that short shot. Eliminate the Tigers is what we're saying, and then put a team like Houston up there instead. I would love to say the Yankees. I would, because you and I have been kind of a proponent of them turning things around and maybe making that leap. And obviously we're making the case for Judge, so it all gets compiled together. But the lack of pitching that they did not address near the deadline is insanity to me for what this Yankees organization is or has been. So I guess for me, yeah, it's Blue Jays and Astros. Doesn't matter because we're still on that train that an NL team is winning it. But that doesn't get you the views when you say the Blue Jays. The Astros is how you're going to have to answer it going forward. We're going to need you to start being on Houston's train now. We'll get those clicks going for you, baby.
I don't think it's a bad option. And, oh, God.
It really isn't.
Kadar mentioned David Bednar. Why did every arm they go get just crumble out the gate? Bednar had me excited, but good Lord, have they been a mess. And can Boone just stop putting Devin Williams out there? That would be probably better for the team.
That's terrifying, too. Yeah, Devin Williams' downfall is
Devin Williams in the postseason, too. Last year with Pete Alonso. If you are going on the other side, going on the other side, who do you like coming out of the AL? Like or the NL, excuse me. You have $100 free bet. Who are you putting it on?
Yeah, you know my team, baby. Still riding the Phillies. Been on them since before. Still sweating them throughout the year. Well, obviously sweating them in the sense of the division. That was my one bet I had on them. But They were still my pick to come out of the NL. I didn't put anything on it. I haven't put anything on it. But I mean, this is the year. This is still in my
That's
mind
a
the year
Philly
for
fan,
this
by the
team that
way.
could be. Oh, I know. I remember last week. Yeah, Kadar was happy. I was boosting up his Phillies a bit. But look, I mean, this could be the last year, from what I recall saying, with all these contracts, that this team has this assembly together with their depth and with a lot of their offensive weapons. And they've just been building up to this for so many years. And now it seems like you finally have, and I don't want to, I mean, it's crazy to say this, but what looks to be a somewhat vulnerable Dodgers team. How vulnerable can you actually say they are? It's the regular season. We figure with the talent, they're still going to put it together in the postseason. But it just seems like following the World Series, like this is the time for the Philadelphia Phillies to finally eclipse that mountaintop. Not buying anybody in the NL Central. Certainly, we've been talking about that for quite some time. The Padres are a fun
Well,
story
why?
right now. I would rather take them over a Brewers team, sure, but it's Dodgers, Phillies at the top right now. Not buying into the Mets this season. They're a nightmare in their bullpen. It's the Phillies for me, no question.
I'm still having a hard time, Danny. I feel like I'm being real lazy here. I don't know. Like, I have my gripes with the Phillies. They can't score on the road. That concerns me. However, I
Mhm.
have liked one thing about the Dodgers, even though I think this is a very clear down year for them. And one person in particular, Mookie Betts, has had a terrible season. Although,
Yeah.
as of late, he's kind of turning it around slowly but gradually. For some reason, it feels like once postseason turns around, he's going to be fully back,
Hmm.
hitting balls, nuke missiles, whatever. He's going to be hashtag back. I still think they're going to be dangerous. It'll be interesting to
For
see. It will
sure.
be fantastic if they don't go the distance because nobody likes them. Nobody likes them. They're the NL Yankees. We understand. I know. I know what it feels like. I got to hate somebody, right? I got to hate somebody. I don't hate anybody on the team. I just hate that logo. I hate seeing it. I don't want them to win. But if you told me $100 free bet, God damn, is that hard? Danny, I don't know. And it's not the Padres. It is not the Padres. I really hate every team. I hate every team in the majors. Let's be real here. I hate every team. And I love that. I think that's, despite me not having any confidence on any team, I think that makes for arguably one of the best postseasons we've had in a couple years. Oh, Kadar.
You know,
I'm Italian. The biggest hater.
so you could get around like plus 425 for the Phillies, plus 230 for the Dodgers. Just looking at a
Ugh.
few books, Padres 6-1, Brewers 4-1, Mets 9-1. You know what's funny, and I think people, and maybe I just saw, anecdotally speaking. Of course, I would never believe this, but if I were not a Cubs fan, I think I could see some people looking at them as that dark horse option, going, "Man, they were so hot at the beginning of the year. Then they struggled, but look what they did to the Brewers last week. They're getting hot at the right time." And I think people are going to fall into that trap a little bit. So I wouldn't be shocked if that would be a lot of people's option in terms of you're ignoring the Phillies, you're ignoring the Dodgers. Who's your next shot? And it would be classic. The season I'm just completely anti Cubs here when everybody's on them, and then they kind of suck. And I'm like, oh yeah, see, I called it. And then they just turn it around in the postseason. But uh, man, I mean, if you got them at like double digit odds, maybe you could flirt with it.
Come
It's somebody
on,
else's hundred
Slim.
dollars.
Come on, Slim. That's not possible. Come on, Slim.
Pseudo World Series. Who's ever in the NLCS?
Well, with the
Pseudo
maybe
World
with the
Series.
new
The
realignment, that's
realignment,
complete
yeah.
BS. Yeah. Slim Smith is living in 2029. Oh my God. Yeah, it's can I say I agree with you on that Cubs take? I don't think that's insane. I don't
Yeah.
think that's insane. I don't have any confidence in it, but I could in a
Right.
pseudo world see a bizarro world of the Cubs being so hot that the pitching doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That they're just hitting like when they were putting up 11 runs a game, what felt like for 2 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, and think about, I mean, just having playoff baseball back here on the north side, and again, if the off like they've been getting by right now with the help of Casey's been coming up, and then Matt Shaw, and I was like the biggest anti-Matt Shaw guy. And again, to give him some credit, I mean, he's a young player, so I just get frustrated
Yeah.
because in a lot of situations early on, it wasn't taking advantage of runners in scoring position. But now he's like the heart and soul of that offense, and they're doing it without PCA and without Kyle Tucker. So if they can get them back relatively on track, it's not crazy to think they can make some noise. Am I saying this because I want people to do it? No, but I think that there are people who are having that sentiment. So I don't think it's the most outlandish thing to say naturally. Man. And I mean, Soroka, Tyon, if you can at least get a little bit of help from him, because if you got to rely on potential NL Rookie of the Year, Cade Horton, that's scary. I mean, I know his numbers aren't terrible, but there are some analytics that certainly displaying some red flags. But, man, it'd be something.
Yeah. But, Danny, we got a massive slate ahead of us, and I think people are just dying for us to just shut up and give them what they're here for, and that is today's plays. I saw Mr. Proper Padge mention a certain somebody that he has holds near and dear to his heart. And yes, Padge, it is Ronald Acuna Day. Yes, I think this is the best option in terms of a player prop on the slate, hence why I boosted his nuke. Only 2 hits in his last 11 at-bats. Has an elite rating, the highest rating in this game. 25 elite road ratings, according to Batters-Box, records a hit 76% of the time. 2 hits nearly 50% of the time. Over this prop, his bases 52% of the time. Taking on Sandy Alcantara, who he has murdered. Go look at the history. I don't like mentioning history. 32 at-bats is worth mentioning. He's batting above 320, I believe. Killing him. Sandy. This is not the Cy Young winner, Sandy Alcantara. This is not him. Because 61% of his pitches are below league average, which leads only 2 pitches that are above league average, and that is his sinker and slider. Now, Ronald Acuna has a batting average of at least 271, an OPS of at least 935, and a WRC plus of at least 166 against those 2 pitches. Sandy, against his last 60 right-handers, faced, they have a 434 expected batting average, 880 expected slugging, 374 expected WOBA, 60% hard contact allowed, and a 10% barrel rate. Yeah, it's Ronald Day. Ba-da-ba-ba! Nuke missile. I love Ronald Acuna today. Love him. Danny, I got to jump to the one we're both on. We're going late night. Actually, it's not late night, middle of the night. We're going down to Arlington. Talk to me about the Angels in the outfield. Talk to me, please.
When I was doing my write-up for this game, I'm like, I have a feeling Colby is going to be on I'm not going to spoil it, but you got to be on one of your first 5 boys. Am I right?
No, I'm not. I don't know what you're talking about. But
really?
I want to preface this. Preface this. I don't recall the last time I faded Patrick Corbin because he's been good. And by good, I mean the most serviceable you could possibly be. And that has been Patrick Corbin. But I know you're about to rattle off some stats too. I didn't get the chance to write the notes down for this game, but I recall a good amount of them being he's due for a bad game. And he's been bad in August, right? He's already been bad in August, right? Yeah. Now they're coming back to me. It's been a long time since I looked at the notes because I had to do the podcast. I had to write the stuff up, and I got to it late. So, yeah, Danny is right. I'll just give it out. The Angels' first 5 team total, over 2.5, plus 115 is a go. The Angels have been
plus
fantastic.
Money too.
They've been fantastic against left-handed hitters. All their elite-rated hitters are right-handed, and this is a great spot to fade Patrick Corbin, who struggled against righties. Go figure. So, Danny, take it away as Danny is on their money line.
Yeah, so I'll set it up for you. And honestly, your play probably a tad bit safer than my approach because you got Kikuchi on the other side, someone who traditionally I've liked to fade. And you talk about like a pitcher who's been fortunate to stay afloat and gotten lucky. Kikuchi is certainly one of those because you look at his 3.42 ERA and people are like, what are you talking about? No, he's been great, but his expected ERA is at 4.39. BABIP's over 320. His whip's at 142. His xFIP's not bad, around, a little bit lower than the league average at 411. And, recently he has been okay. Last 3 out of 4 games, his xFIP, the post result after the game, has averaged out to 365 or lower, or not averaged out, has been 365 or lower in 3 out of his last 4 starts. And the good news, too, is that, Texas against lefties the last month, their isolated power has been really down low. They're 25th at just 122. Weighted run created plus is just at 101, and their OPS is only 711. So you're hoping that Kikuchi can stay afloat enough, and this Angels offense can just absolutely pummel Corbin, to then propping them at a cheaper price of minus 108, what I got for the full game, as opposed to the first 5, which was minus 120 or above. But I love your first 5 angle as well. We talk about Corbin. I mean, you're right. Like, he has somehow relatively gotten by, but in his last 2 games, he's given up a total of 11 earned runs. His last 4 games, his xFIP has averaged out to 646. That is awful, Colby. Overall, this season, his numbers also atrocious. 461 ERA, 466 expected ERA. His xFIP surprisingly a little bit better, but still no bueno at 433. He's not producing ground balls that much. 141 whip, very low strikeout to walk ratio at 11% below league average. And like you mentioned, the Angels have been doing pretty darn well against lefties. Last month, they're actually 6th in weighted runs created plus, 125 against southpaws. Their ISO is 233, second best in that span. Their OPS is 824. The Angels should, keyword should, maul Corbin in this spot. I'm going to tack on your play as well, because I can't believe that that's plus money.
I would also like to add the Angels score more runs in the first 5 innings on the road. I think it's 2.6 something. So that got me pretty excited. Yes, Austin. The Angels' first 5 team total over, and Danny is on their money line. Let me get my quote-unquote bias out of the way, because guess what? We're taking the hottest offense in baseball, over 2.5 runs, minus 110. I don't know if the number is a misprice or if the price is a misprice, because why on earth does this just feel like the most easy bet of all time? Let's get into why it feels easy. The Yankees have 4 elite rated hitters today. The last 2 weeks, they are number 1 in ISO, walk rate, hard contact, and barrel rate. They are number 2 in WRC plus, WOBA, and OPS. Against left-handed pitching, number 1 in WRC plus, WOBA, OPS, walk rate, number 2 in ISO, 5th in hard contact. That is overall this season. In the last 4 weeks, they are still maintaining all of those stats and within the top 10. They get to take on Mackenzie Gore. This lineup against the lefties just sounds like a feast fest. Mackenzie Gore, go look at his stats. They seem to be solid on the road, as of late at least. I would argue he is a byproduct of playing nobodies. You get to play the Giants. Congratulations. You get to play the Twins. Congratulations. You play the Houston Astros, and you give up 6 runs, while the other 2, I think, get a total of 7 hits, 1 earned. So I think he's due, and especially against a team that is on fire for regression. Last 5 starts overall, almost has a 7 ERA, 640 expected ERA, 440 xFIP. Hitters have it above 300 expected batting average, sub 600 expected slugging, 402 WOBA. 4 of the 6 top-rated Yankees today will bat right-handed. Last 90 righties faced, 457 expected batting average, 934 expected slugging, 417 expected WOBA, and nearly 60% hard contact allowed. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bronx Bombers. If you would like to see more stats, I put up a bajillion on my write-up today. So if you want to go read a little doodle bob, go check it out on our website at bettingnews.com. It should be fun. I think this is going to be a fun sweat.
Is Mackenzie Gore kind of like, I feel like, you know how you say that I have these pitchers that I like to fade. I feel like Gore's one of those guys for you, and maybe Irvin as well, Jake Irvin. Am I mistaken, or is that a common theme
right.
here?
No, you're right. He's just been due. Like, I was like, every time I see a stat where I'm like, this feels wrong, like last 5 games, he's like, has a really good ERA. I'm like, yeah, okay, who did you play? Okay, right. You played a corpse, the Twins. You played a Giants team that hasn't put it together since June. Congratulations. Then you get murdered against a legit playoff contender.
I dig it. I like it. We're rooting for your Yankees, baby. And like you said,
Let's go.
You like Judge to go yard. We're not betting it. No value there, but
I think he goes.
Looking forward to it. Come on.
Parlay the two. Parlay the two. They correlate. They correlate.
I knew you were going to say that.
They correlate. All right. Talk to me about your favorite team up north. Talk to me.
Oh, jeez.
Still within the states,
you know
though.
what?
Not outside the country.
Yeah, geez. All right. Well, let's talk Milwaukee Brewers here, shall we? A team that somehow I'm always finding a way to bet on Tuesdays. This is actually, I say it's disgusting every week, and it continues to be. But the market has shown some infatuation toward the side that I had. So minus $1.45, not available anymore. So I would look at, the flat one if you don't want to risk the run line there, but obviously can still get some plus money there with the Brewers covering the run and the hook against this D-backs team. And most importantly, Colby's former favorite pitcher, Brandon Pfaadt, who has not improved from the latter half of last season. 4.95 ERA, 5.71 expected ERA. He's got a 46% hard hit rate, over 11% on his barrel rate, and his numbers on the road are terrible. 6.50 ERA, 3.79 weighted on base average, 4.55 xFIP. Frame of reference there at home, his xFIP's at 3.69. And somehow Major League Baseball's favorite pitcher, Jacob Misiorowski, who was somehow an all-star, obviously shouldn't have been. His number's still not too bad. There are some concerns, but there are a lot of concerns with the D-backs, especially Brandon Pfaadt. But Misiorowski, 4.19 ERA, 2.86 expected ERA, which obviously a green flag. Good ground ball percentage at 40%, 250 BABIP, good strikeout to walk ratio over 22%. His walks have been an issue, but that just shows you how much he's striking out batters. So the volatility is certainly there. But, man, I mean, the Brewers, it just seems like, we're looking at a lot of spots with them lately. And when you're in that range where I got it like minus 140 or so, you go, I don't know, the D-backs can still hit, but the Brewers just keep finding a way. And I feel like they're going to continue to find a way, and it's worth laying a little bit of juice there. So again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it over minus $1.60 per se, but consider the run line here. Milwaukee first in, the last month against righties, 134 weighted runs created plus, over 200 ISO, 835 OPS. Arizona has fallen in that span to 18th. So the advantage clearly resides with Milwaukee. Makes sense why the line has moved in that direction.
Embarrassing note I have to add. Last year I bet Brandon Pfaadt to win Cy Young. I really
that's
thought
a fun one. That's good. I love that.
I think I had it like 125 to 1, I believe was the price. And I just thought he put up such an impressive postseason for bringing them to the World Series. And he sucked. Keep in mind, people, I know he sucks. I was fading the daylights out of him every time he went out there in 2023. Then the postseason starts. Nobody can touch the guy. I was like,
it made no sense.
I was like, if he could replicate that all of 2024, this will be a breeze. I was like, I put $2 on this. And yeah, that's why I put $2 on it, because it's Brandon Pfaadt. I got one last F5 for us. And it's our favorite team as of late. The Houston Astros over 2.5. Look at the price. Look at the price versus this. Look at the price. Tanner Gordon effect makes it $1.30. Tanner Gordon. The Astros this season are averaging over 2.5 runs at home this season. Last 90 plate appearances against right-handed pitching, 5 Astros have a batting average above 250 or better, a 325 WOBA or better, 440 slugging, and 740 OPS or better. Getting to take on, like I said, Tanner Gordon, allowing 711 hits, 2.2 extra base hits, and 4.33 runs per start this season. Opposing hitters are slashing 333, 373, 516, and 888 OPS. Last 5 starts, this is where it gets real fun. 11.39 ERA, 6.65 expected ERA, 4.86 xFIP. Hitters have a 3.47 expected batting average, sub 600 expected slugging, 4.08 expected WOBA. 7 of their top 8 hitters will bat from the right side. Gordon's last 90 righties faced have a 378 expected batting average, 529 expected slugging, 356 expected WOBA, and a 616 ERA, allowing 44% hard contact. Yeah, I don't care the Astros have been slumping. this is probably the best spot for this offense to bounce back and put up some runs early and often against a struggling starting pitcher. And I also would like to add, I didn't rattle off Tanner Gordon's road stats because they don't matter. He's only got 3 starts on the road this season, but he does have a 13 ERA. So, I said it. Oops, I said it. Oops.
Are you kind of surprised? Like, I feel like normally when you've rattled these off, especially against the pitching staff of Colorado, that this isn't one of those that's listed at 3 and a hook, or is it because just that they've been slumping, that's why it's down to a way better spot here?
I was shocked. I was like, oh, I have to pay juice. And then I was like, well, I probably should be happy this isn't 3.5.
Yeah.
If it was in Colorado, I think it would be 3.5. But
sure.
Also, I'll add on to this. Tanner Gordon is coming off his best start of his life, shutting down the Dodgers last week, giving up only 1 run. So, regression?
Let's hope so.
But yeah, you got 2 more plays before the W kicks off in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere, folks. The W will be live shortly. But you have an over. I would like to hear this one.
I do. Yeah, this is the other one where I was like, oh, maybe Colby will get a little something going here, but maybe I'll convince you. We'll see. Twins, Blue Jays over 8.5, -110. This may have shifted. I haven't checked lately, but I know it was trending toward the over. Haven't looked in a little bit. Nevertheless, Bailey over has not been the Bailey over that we've been accustomed to. Yes, awful. He has been awful. 5.05 ERA, 4.39 expected ERA. His FIP's at 5.10. His xFIP's lower, but it's still 4.75, which is brutal. Only a 29% ground ball rate, which is really, really concerning for any pitcher. Skill interactive ERAs at 4.52, 11% barrel rate. His road numbers, awful. 5.30 slugging, 5.89 ERA, 3.72 WOBA. His xFIP is at 4.90. We know how hot Toronto's been against righties, especially the last month, where they ranked 3rd in weighted runs created plus. So we're assuming there's going to be runs coming in on the side of Toronto. So I almost was very, very much invested on just the Toronto side, whether it was a team total, whether it was money line, run line, rather. But then I was looking at Chris Bassett, and he's kind of one of those pitchers, Colby, where we were talking about like guys who have been fortunate to stay afloat. He's similarly been like that. I mean, he's got a good ground ball rate at 45%, but his ERA is over 4. He's got a good strikeout to walk ratio at 16%. But, his walks have really been concerning, especially late. And he does pitch better at home, but the Twins do still have some power in that lineup, and they still can come alive here and there. And just like you're kind of looking at this matchup in paper and effort, it's like obviously Toronto's the right side here, and Bassett's numbers again, they're good, not great. There are some reasons to be concerned, but then there's cases to be made for why he can get against this Minnesota team. So my point being is like it just seems too good to be true to just plainly back Toronto here, and that may still be the right side, but I could very well see Bassett getting a little bit banged up here enough to help contribute to this total getting over. If you want to ignore that and just look at a team total, perhaps with Toronto, I have no issues with that. But yeah, I'm going for the full game total over 8.5, and then I'll briefly rattle off this other play I got you, Colby. The Padres +102 fading our least favorite team, the Seattle Mariners here. It's my boy Dylan Cease. We're talking about Cy Young hopefuls that didn't come through. That was mine this year. But his numbers are still indicating that he can be productive. 4.71 ERA, Colby. But his 3.52 expected ERA and 3.51 xFIP indicate that he should be pitching a lot better. Plus, he's over 20% on his strikeout to walk ratio. His hard hit rate, sub 40%. Barrel rate, sub 10%. On the road, his xFIP still solid at 3.63. You flip the script, Luis Castillo, much better at home, but overall, man, his expected ERA is at 4.40. His true ERA is at 3.57, but he's not really striking out a lot of people in comparison to how many he's walking. He's got a 48% hard hit rate, 9 earned runs given up the last 2 games. I faded him last go around against the Phillies. Doing it again with the plus money here with a hot team in San Diego. I think the better pitcher is Cease in this environment, and certainly the bats all around have more depth and versatility on the side of San Diego. So I like him in this underdog position.
It's my favorite play that I'm not on. Let's go. I need them to lose 17 games, and they won yesterday.
Yes, sir.
So I need it. I need it. Also forgot, I'll add this now. I'm not going to post it, but I am on Martin Perez to give up 3 walks and 4 walks against the Royals today. This is just a little side fun for myself. I boosted 3. I think the 1.5 over is like minus 130 or something. He's coming off his first no walk game, which I was on last week with the Braves. They couldn't manage to get 1 walk. I laddered that. It lost. But the Royals, we've talked about in the past, do not strike out, do not walk. However, over the last couple of weeks, that team is working the count. I think they're at like a 10% walk rate as of late. They do it more at home, but it's Martin Perez, who's averaging like 2 walks a game this season, has one of the highest walk rates of the year. I think it's a good look. Don't go crazy with it. I boosted it and then put a free bet on the 4. So I'm not on it heavily tonight like everything else that I gave out. But I think it's fun. Thank you for calling me handsome. You don't have to lie. Anywho, say that to Danny. But I think it's fun. I think the walk prop is so fun. Also, with last week with Martin, having no walks, Danny, the amount of full counts or 3-0 counts there were makes you just want to punch yourself.
Well, so that's the benefit of you watching that game too, because you're not going to find that info or recognize that without having watched every single at-bat that he was a part of. So I like it. Good scout up there. He's due for that regression, baby.
And it was one of his best starts this season. So, and now you're taking on an offense that has been scorching hot over the last week. I am not expecting Vinny Pasquantino to hit another missile because, God forbid, that guy hits 7 home runs in a week. That was insane. 5 home runs. What was weird was I watched half of those. It's very rare. It's like seeing what is it, narwhal? You're never going to see that thing. That's a Vinny Pasquantino home run. You never see them. Insane. Did you have any other leans today?
No, I guess that was pretty much it. I already did take your Angels first 5 over 2.5 because obviously that coincides with my action in that game, just sweating out the Angels. Yeah, kind of looking down the list. I mean, nothing else stood out too much. Let me just look through it again. Yeah, I like your Yankees angle as well. Obviously, fading Gore, somebody who's due to really get pummeled.
What is the price?
Phillies Mets will certainly be a fun game to watch. I mean, that series is always kind of a blast between the two. I wish that the Pirates were somewhat of a competent offense because fading Piante is certainly always an entertaining look, but can't really muster up the courage to do it with a weak Pirates offense. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And somehow the postseason fighting Cincinnati Reds got a big game against the Dodgers, which, we were talking about before the show. You didn't even realize that they were only I didn't realize either. They're only 2.5 games back from the Mets. So.
That team doesn't move the needle for me. Why would I pay attention to them? I can't. I don't have any respect for them.
Insane.
It's baffling to know that they're creeping up on a postseason spot when I think they're one of the most inconsistent teams in baseball. Oh, but do you know who they have as a skipper? Yeah, I don't care. Is he playing? I like the hype people put on Tito is insane to me. Does he make good moves? Yes. Is he a proven coach? Yes. But who is on that team besides Ellie De La Cruz? Who is pitching for that team that really moves the needle? Hunter Green's a great pitcher. Name me another one.
I only know Nick Martinez because he's going tonight. So
Abbott's the best thing you got. I will say the crappy rotation that they have has put up a very serviceable year. I will say that nice thing about them. Brady Singer. Yeah. I used to fade the crap out of that guy.
Well, what's crazy is the Reds were kind of pegged as one of those dark horse teams. They had such a brutal first half. So it is pretty impressive that they've managed to stay this close in the race. Certainly doesn't mean anything for what we're going to do with them this year, but next year, again, maybe that's when they can have that consistency and really be toward the top of the NL Central. But I just think it would be hilarious if they actually have the Mets sweated out here because the Mets, I mean, my goodness, with all that hype and people talking about them going to the World Series, would be hysterical to see them come down to the wire against the Reds.
Yeah, and I'll go through the plays one last time. A minute before the W kicks off, I'm on Proper Padges. Love Ronald Acuna. Bases and home run, boosted the home run. We are also on my beloved Yankees over the first 5 team total at 2.5. The Angels first 5 over 2.5 plus money. That should be fun. And finally, the Astros first 5 team total over at minus 130. Danny is also on the Angels money line. He is also on his favorite team, the Milwaukee Brewers. Money line. The Twins over 8.5. The Twins game over. And my favorite bet of the day, because I need all the L's possible for the Seattle Mariners. And that is your Tuesday card here on the Pickoff. Danny Burke, as always, thank you so much for being here. Make sure to give the guy a follow at Danny Burke 5. Make sure you give myself a follow at Colby M. Betts. This has been the Pickoff. The W is starting, I believe, right now. So don't go anywhere, you lunatics. Do not. I think live, right? What time is it? They're going live. I think they're live. They told me they're live.
You see, I'm getting close. I accelerate, going faster than fast. Hit the gas, lose control. I won't crash, running high. Put your money on the dash, throw the dice. Lose control. I won't crash, running low. I won't crash, bring you slow. I won't crash, running. Take. You running on the road, so get out the way. Push the pedal to the floor, going all the way. Yeah, you see I'm getting close. I accelerate, going faster than fast. Hit the gas.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Excited to have you with us right here on the Betting News Network for another hour of fun content. That is Miss Kate Constable. My name is Sweatpan Jesus. Stoked to have you guys here for the W. Kate, how you doing? Happy Tuesday.
Hello, I was going to say good morning. It's certainly not the morning.
Nope.
Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. It's been a long week already, but I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, man, we actually have some people tune in from like the down under in Australia. So we had a guy watch us in the morning time, getting his cup of coffee, starting the show. We're finishing the day.
Against other parts of the world. Good morning to all you.
Absolutely.
From other places. Yeah.
Absolutely. Vibes are high. Thanks for stopping by right here on the network, brought to you by our sponsors at Bet Online. Chat, missed you guys for 4 days. You haven't seen my face on here in 4 days. I've been out in the frivolity land of Calgary celebrating our dog Vsauce's wedding, which was spectacular. Man, it was insane. It was my first Indian wedding. And they are two, Ashna, his wife, and V are two separate religions as well. So they had multiple ceremonies. So it was very long. It was like 5 days, and the events were full. I was very tired when I got back, but it was awesome to be there. It was great. Have you been to an Indian wedding before?
I haven't. I've always wanted to go to one. They look so fun.
It's so cool because it's just laden with culture and I mean, a lot of it was in Punjabi, so I didn't understand a good portion of it, but it was just so cool to see how much love was around all the time. You know,
you can drink at those weddings, right?
So this was interesting because part of it was part of the religion of his wife's side now is Sikh, which is they don't actually drink at these particular events. But the other side was, so they had events that were kind of mixed and matched. So there were certain things that weren't and certain things that were. The reception we had a great time to finish it off, which was good. But yeah, it was a great time. Glad to be home. Glad to be back for the vibes. We've got a busy week in front of us. We've obviously got a fun day today in the WNBA. The guys were live for the last hour talking about the MLB slate, which we're getting closer to the end of the MLB season. Playoffs around the corner. We're going to talk about in a second. The WNBA got the playoffs right around the corner. And then, Kate, football is back. So what happened to your ribs? Proper patch. We'll talk about that another time. That's an off-air moment. The vibes are high. Thanks for being here on the network. We're excited to have you guys with us to talk all about the WNBA today. 2 games today, Kate, so not huge slate. So we're going to spend a little time talking some news. There's been some news that's been happening kind of in the league as a whole. We're going to talk about the playoff picture, which is just insanity right now. We talked about it last week, and it was crazy. It's even great.
Yeah.
I was remaking the graphic and I had to do a bunch of changes just between last week, which was nutty. But talk about that, give you guys the place because we've only got about 7 to 8 games left in the regular season. So we are getting down to the nitty gritty, and then we're going to talk about both of the games, cook a parlay, have some fun, and get after it. Should we just jump straight into it? You got anything else you want to gab about before we start?
No, I'm good. Let's do a little W.
Let's do a little W. All right, let's bring up the playoff standings for you guys on the side of the screen here. So this is what we got looking at. Like I said, 7 games left. Some teams have 8. Actually, Sparks have more than that, but we'll talk about that in a second. But the C's over here, you guys can see for the Lynx and the Aces, they have clinched their playoff spot, which we'll talk about the Aces in a minute. But 1, Lynx, Dream, 2, Aces 3, Mercury, Liberty 5 and 6, or 4 and 5, Storm, Valkyries, and Fever round out the top 8, which are the spots that are going to make the playoffs. The Sparks are going to play tonight, which we'll talk about in a second. And those Mystics still have a little bit of a shot, even though that door is closing quickly. Sun, Sky, and Wings are eliminated. You guys can see the rest of the numbers on the side of the screen. I mean, should we just start off talking about this incredible run by the Aces? Like this team,
we have to.
is 11 straight games this team has won. They were 5th when I made the graphic last week. As you can see, they are now 3rd. And Asia Wilson, man, has just been carrying this team. They've been playing great basketball. Just an insane run.
Plus 550 I'm seeing at various places. Do a little shopping. There's probably different numbers out there. But I think last time we talked last week, maybe they were plus 950. And then the week before that, they were 27-1. So this number just keeps like, this is a team that talk about getting hot at the right time going into the playoffs. They struggled so badly during the early parts. I mean, even midway through the season.
Yeah.
And they look like a completely different team. The way they're winning games, the opponents that they've beaten, it's so impressive. I don't know what clicked, like what switch did they flip there other than bringing Jewel Lloyd off the bench, but like that can't be the one thing that made this train go. Like there has to be a couple more components to it, but they've been playing the best basketball of anyone over the last 2-3 weeks.
We talked about it last week, and I mean, this is the type of team right now going in as we get closer to the playoffs starting here in the next couple of weeks that I don't want to play this team now in the playoffs. They are dangerous because they have, depending on who you talk to, has been and is in the conversation for the best player in the league this year in Asia Wilson, playing out of her mind right now. And as you mentioned, they're pressing the right buttons, bringing Lloyd off the bench now, which seems to just transform the way this team is playing. I think it's also just one of those situations where it is a long season. So maybe they were kind of just trying to figure it out, start us off, and then realizing, all right, we got to get it together now. They kind of messed around a little too much in the first part of the season. You know, they kind of just were like, but then they finally figured it out with that Lloyd move. And like you said, maybe just a couple of other buttons got clicked. Yeah, they look dangerous right now. The Lynx obviously getting Collier back as a help coming into this down stretch as well. But kind of in this little next portion of the Storm, the Valkyries, the Storm have actually won 2 of their last 3 games. I think 3 straight, actually. So they're kind of back up on the climb. We were talking about them last week, kind of struggling now. Do you think that the Sparks have a chance to kind of sneak in here, depending on what goes on with this Fever squad?
I do, because I think the Fever could continue to lose some games. I mean, their depth is gone. So that's something that we'll talk about when we get later into today's matchups. But like, they don't have a bench to even compete over the next, you said, 7-8 games left for a lot of these teams. Like that's going to be kind of their downfall, is like, sure, maybe their starting 5 can still compete, but when those players are resting, that's when everything kind of goes to shit for the Fever. And I think that's going to be the MO for them for the rest of the season. So the Sparks going forward, their schedule is tough. That's the only thing. Like they play Indiana and Washington, Dallas. So there's 3 wins there, but you have 2 against Atlanta, Las Vegas, 2 against Phoenix. Like their schedule's tough. That's what makes me a little nervous for them. If you're asking me Sparks or Fever, though, I'm probably go Sparks for that 8th spot.
Well, we're going to talk about the Sparks tonight. We'll talk about both these teams, actually. And the Sparks are one of those teams that finally got it together, kind of similar to the Aces. They had made that run. They kind of slowed down a tiny bit over the last week or so, but they desperately need to win tonight. We'll talk about that at the final game of the night versus the Mercury a little bit later, but they need to catch every W they can for this last little stretch of the season. So we shall see how that plays out. The Mystics still have a little bit of hope, but I think their door has probably closed at this point. I think it's those top 9 teams that are competing for this spot. Before we move on real quick, talk about a couple pieces of news and jump into the games. I see I am Kev in the chat. Kev, I know you signed up for our fantasy league, but I can't find you on Twitter. So if you could do me a favor and send me a little whisper on Twitch. That's what the Twitch messages are called. They're called whispers. If you could send me a whisper, I know I feel weird saying it every time. If you could send me a whisper on Twitch, please, Kev, so I can get you the link so you can join our league. Because you're one of the only ones that's not in there, and I know you want to play because you signed up. So please do that. I know you're in the chat. Let me know so we can get you involved. We got fantasy football right around the corner. Very excited to play with Kate this year too. Danny's going to be a part of the squad too.
I didn't miss that. Did I?
No, that would be really bad if I just didn't tell you
that
when
would
we were
be
having
bad.
our draft.
I would be pissed.
No, you should be pissed if I didn't do that. We're either going to do it on the 1st or the 2nd. We haven't totally nailed down a date yet. We'll figure it out in the next couple of days. I think the 1st. I know it's Labor Day, but we'll think we're going to do it on the 1st, and we will be live drafting. So, yeah, there you go, Kev. Whispering. Thanks, buddy. Give me a whisper. Cool. All right, one piece of news before we jump into these 2 big games. Huge games tonight. Both of these games are just implications for all 4 of these teams, which we'll talk about in just a second. But I just wanted to bring up this piece of news because we've been talking about this all season long, really. And the CBA negotiations are still going on between the league and the players. there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on in the last week that has been coming out that the players in the leagues are nowhere close to being in an agreement. And it's looking like we might have a lockout on our hands. This was a quote from Nafisha Collier when she was asked about the situation. And chat, just if you guys don't know, the CBA discussions have to be finalized by October 31st. That's when the new deal has to be worked out. Collier said in the last quote, and I think this was either today or yesterday, it feels like it's kind of the same old, same old. We're not making a lot of progress. It's unfortunate. We obviously want to get a deal done, and it feels like the league doesn't have that same urgency, and the deadline is quickly approaching. I feel like we're not close right now, end quote. Tough. Yeah. From Collier, too. She's been, she's been vocal, but she hasn't been as vocal as some of those other ladies. So for Collier to say that, the potential MVP, that doesn't sound good.
No, and to be this close to the deadline and to not be close in negotiations at all is concerning. Like, they are not seeing eye to eye on anything. I did a little digging, and apparently this is what happened in the last negotiation, because there wasn't a lockout despite the two sides being fairly kind of in a similar situation, and that they can you can have a 60-day extension. So they have to announce on October 28th. So 3 days before, I believe. Nope, it's the 31st. If there's no new agreement on the 31st, both sides can agree to a temporary extension, but both sides have to agree to that. Are the players going to want to agree to that? Because if there's no movement now, what's going to tell them that there's any movement? Like, I know no one wants a lockout, but I feel like if anything, the players are probably the ones to benefit from it a little bit more than the owners. But that's going to be interesting because you have two expansion teams coming this fall too. So you have the expansion draft that for the Valkyries, that was on December 7th. So October, November, like that's a month away, and you're going to be needing expansion drafts to happen there. Then free agency starts in early January. So you really can't push things back. Even 60 days would be, then you're behind the 8 ball on a lot more stuff. So this next, month, 2 months is going to be so important and crucial for both sides to kind of maybe come to the table and want to negotiate a little bit more than they have been and kind of give and take. Yeah. But I don't know if I see it happening. And I think that would be so bad if they have a lockout, because there's so much momentum going on in the W right now, and that would just kind of halt it all. Yeah,
it would be terrible. Like, that would be the worst possible outcome. We've talked about it all season long. I know you've been following the league for quite a long time, and the graph has now really shot this direction. Yeah. And for them to say, oh no, we're going to have a lockout, that would totally kill the momentum, like you mentioned. The other part about this too, which is just crazy to me, we just saw it in the NFL. I know this is the W, but since we're kind of talking contract negotiations and stuff, we just saw Terry McLaurin get paid. We just saw Trey Hendrickson get paid. And I think we both kind of agreed that at least this was going to be something that didn't get worked out. And finally, they just somehow randomly figured out that why couldn't this have gotten done 2 months ago situation type of deal. So maybe it's going to be that. Like, they're just all this he said, she said, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then when, at the darkest or at the final hour, right before the bell, like, they're like, yeah, all right, we'll figure it out. And here's your money. They're just playing hard to get. That seems
to kind of be how it goes. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Even if you think to the Cowboys, I know Micah Parsons is kind of standing his ground, but in years past when Jerry Jones has done this type of stuff, Dak signed the day of their first game, CeeDee Lamb, like, it goes right down to the wire. Then they're all of a sudden like, okay, neither of us actually want this. I'll cave a little on my side. You cave a little on your side. We'll both come to an agreement. That would be what I hope happens, but we'll have to see. This is like totally uncharted territory for the W, just because they haven't had these types of media rights deals ever.
Yeah. I really think, just because, again, at the end of the day, there's so much money on the line from the league's perspective. Like you said, this deal that they've got going on that they're going to be signing and bringing into the league is huge in comparison to what they've had before. And it would be so bad for business if they don't get something worked out. Yeah. So hopefully they can find a middle ground here, like you said. But it is interesting to see. There's going to be a lot of talking points about this over the next couple months. Hopefully it doesn't overshadow the playoffs. Like, hopefully it just, like, they let the playoffs be awesome. They let the whole end of the season and everything be, because the season's been great. Yeah. And then that can again take over when this is all said and done. And then, or maybe we get some really good news and we can just go on that direction. But interesting stuff to see how this is going to play out as we get into the last little portion of the season. Well, we've got 2 huge games. Anything else you want to say about that, or should we jump in?
No, let's go to games for tonight. Yeah.
Let's kick it off. Take it away.
All right. Looking at the lines here for this first one, we have the Seattle Storm and Indiana Fever in Indiana. Storm are laying 4.5. So that line has moved quite a bit. 3.5 earlier today, at 4.5 now. Total sitting 168.5. I mean, we talked about it earlier. I cannot I can't put any money on the Fever right now. They're so bad. They haven't covered a game in their last 5 games. Everything just injury wise is their depth is completely gone. Like even Chloe Bibby, who they brought in, who was on a 7-day contract, multiple 7-day contracts, like she's out. That's how thin they are right now. And you have a Storm team that they are one of the more inconsistent, more frustrating teams in the league. But when they're on, they're on. And right now they have some momentum. They're playing really well. And they're fighting for that last spot with the Fever. Well, no, they're up on the Fever right now, but not a whole lot, like half a game. So if the Fever were to win this tonight, that would drop the Storm almost out of playoff contention, if I'm reading that right, or at least to that 8 spot. So this is a really important game. The bench units on these two, I think that's kind of where this game is won and lost, is that when Indiana's starters have to sit, Seattle has a bench that can hold up their end of the bargain and can continue to score, where I don't see that happening for the Fever. So I'm going to lay, I got it at 3.5 earlier today. I still think it's worth playing at 4.5. I wouldn't go much beyond 4.5 just because this is a road game and this is the Storm's, I think 4th straight road game. And that's kind of a tough spot. But I think they are the right side tonight just with how both of these teams are trending right now.
You kind of mentioned this. This line, to me, I just stared at it all day because I don't know. The Fever at home are hard because they can play a lot better at home. Aaliyah Boston's a lot better at home too. Kelsey Mitchell's also very good at home. She's been playing really well recently, even though they haven't been winning because they need her to score. I just don't. I like the Storm too. I did look at the Indiana plus 4.5 and go, maybe the desperation sets in. You got to get these dubs right now. They're at home. Maybe the crowd helps them out. But like you said, this Storm team's just a better team right now. On paper, they got more depth. They got more pieces. And I'm actually going to go to one of the depth pieces myself, the talented rookie. And she has been absolutely
somehow
amazing.
I knew you were going to go there.
you know I was going to take this direction? Okay, there you go. You haven't been here long, but you're learning.
I'm catching on.
You're picking it up. I'm going Dominic Malonga over 19.5 points and rebounds. If you want to just take the points, chat, depending on where you're shopping, you can go ahead and take the points as well, or just the rebounds, either one. But I love the PR angle here. She's been cooking. She's been really, really good. Obviously, a very young player. She was the first player in WNBA history to score her high this season was the first by a teenager. The amount of points that she scored over the last 3 games was also the most by a teenager in that stretch. She's not even 20 yet. She's been very good for this team coming off the bench, like you said, in that bench unit. She hit this line in 3 straight games, 17-10 in their last game against Washington, big dub that they got there. Dallas, the other game, 22-9, and then right before that against the Sky, some bad defenses there. But the Fever, 9th in points allowed, 13th in rebounds allowed, which is the worst in the WNBA. Terrible injury situation for them. I know Boston's good, Howard's good, but I think Malonga's going to keep doing what we're doing here. And I think this line's too low. I really like this. You can sprinkle on the double-double if you would like. It's at plus 300-ish, depending on where you want to shop, coming off a double-double in her last game. She's also had 7+ rebounds in 5 straight. So even if the shot not quite there, I think that she can get there in the boards department. But I think she's going to keep doing what she's been doing. She also played 31 minutes, even though she came off the bench in their last game. So I think that they're going to start leaning on her more and more as they can trust her going down the stretch and kind of take advantage of that. Like you said, that kind of the Fever run ragged at this point. Very ragged because of just they have no depth. And I think you're getting you're getting Aaliyah Boston playing 30 to 35 minutes a game. And that's, and Natasha Howard playing that long, and she's an older player too. So I like that. I like the Storm too. I think the money line's a fine parlay piece. I think they should win this game. And this might be the beginning of the end for the Fever, and we'll see how that plays out. Anything else that stood out from you in this game? Any other things that kind of were piquing your interest?
Just how bad the Fever's defense has been recently. So I think taking overs for some Storm players that maybe you would kind of be hesitant towards is okay tonight. And then you look at just Kelsey Mitchell. she's been on fire recently. 38, 27, 26. Like if you want to back anyone on the Fever, or if you're an Indiana fan and want to sprinkle a little on some Fever player just for the fun of it and to have some action in this game, I think Kelsey Mitchell is the way to go.
Yeah, I looked at Kelsey Mitchell's points just because, again, she is their bucket getter in this situation with that as it has been over the last couple of weeks. We talked about her, was it last week or the week before?
Yeah.
I can't remember. But another one was Lexi Hull. Obviously, her points line is 8.5, which is so low. I mean, 10 plus is plus 155. She just had that huge outbreak game a couple games ago in the starting lineup. Didn't quite hit it the same the next game, but she still took 10 shots, so she still got the volume. And she's going to play a lot. So I like both of those two. I like the Mitchell play a bunch as well. I almost tapped the button on that one. But I kind of lean with you. I think the Storm get the job done here. So, yeah, hard to not take Kelsey's points. I agree with Austin in that as well. And my dog, Inzi, also, what's up, buddy? Asia MVP. That ticket's looking nicer and nicer as we continue down the road. I know, right? How much are you, before I don't want to rub salt in the wound too much, but how much are you kicking yourself that you didn't take the aces at like 29-1 when we talked about this? Like
the most I've ever kicked myself for not taking anything. Because I even said, like, this is a really good bet. This is a number that I think is a good value bet for how the aces are playing or what they could potentially be. And I didn't take it. 27-1 down to 550. That's a big blow.
Hey, plus 550 is still nice, if you don't want to really regret it. But if you
bet, nice.
I know.
Rough.
It's rough. It's all right. Well, who knows? Maybe they won't end up winning and it won't matter at all.
That's what I'm hoping for now.
Yeah, there you go. Especially as a Lynx fan.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving. I do, just before we move on from Austin, I really like this play as well. Boston cooks at home. Her PR looked nice too. She really cooks the Storm on the glass. Her rebounds was a nice play as well. So the PRA looks tasty for Boston. If you want to, I've just gotten burned by her a couple of times just because sometimes her shot's so off, and without Clark running the offense, she just kind of looks a little lost at points. But I don't hate that play if you kind of lean a little more with the Fever sticking around here. All right, I'll let you set up the next game. Let's move to the late night, second game of the night.
Let's do it. We have Mercury in LA at the Sparks. Mercury on the road, laying 3.5. There's the 3.5 for you. That's still out there. Total 177.5. So these two teams are going to be scoring quite a bit. I'm going to go to a tried and true Alyssa Thomas. It's crazy. Speaking of Asia Wilson and her points or her MVP number, she is Asia Wilson sitting at like plus 460, and Alyssa Thomas is 100-1. Alyssa Thomas has had 5 triple doubles in her last 9 games, and she's still 100-1. That's crazy. So I'm going to continue to back Alyssa Thomas, just kind of being the do-it-all player for the Mercury. She's only played in 1 meeting between the Sparks. These teams have only met twice this season, but shot 70% from the field in that game. Had a great stat line, 9.57. So a little bit under 33.5 PRA tonight. But again, she's had these triple doubles or near triple doubles in honestly almost every game in the month of April, which is crazy. So, if you were to take this in her last, I'm doing quick math here, 5 out of 6 games, you would hit this over. So I think Alyssa Thomas gonna have a big game on the road. Don't care. She's just someone that I feel comfortable consistently backing.
I love it. Chat, this is our play that we are both on today. We were texting about this a little bit before we started. Unfortunately, she didn't quite get the job done for us last time when we both liked her a lot.
Yeah.
But it was more the game script versus the actual play itself. I'm on this too, except I took her RA at 17.5. I paid a little bit of juice at minus 130, but I don't hate the PRA as well. She's been awesome. And chat, like Kate was just saying, just to give you guys the numbers, the triple doubles plus 320. And as Kate was just mentioning, she's either flirting with or getting them on the regular. So I think it's a great bet for 3-1 at this particular point, just because, again, you're going to be sweating it all game. You might as well enjoy the 3-1 if she ends up getting there. She just is coming off also her season high in assists. She had 16 assists in her last game.
Crazy.
Sparks, terrible defensively. They're one of the worst defensive teams in assists allowed. So I think Thomas is in a nice spot tonight. I have a prop in this game too, and I'll save it for just a second. Do you have a lean on a side here? It's kind of tough for me to pick and choose a side in this situation. What are your thoughts?
I couldn't decide on a side. I looked at this one for a while. I tend to like backing the Mercury at home and the Sparks on the road. And so this is the opposite of both of those. So that was just more of I'm going to stay away. If anything, I think I would lean the over 177.5. I mean, that's a really high number, but not so much considering these two teams. The Sparks don't play a whole lot of defense, despite Kelsey Plum telling the team they need to play defense. But
no, they need to play some fucking defense, is what she said.
Like, okay, you're a part of that, Kelsey. You're a part of that.
Oh man.
Where these they're gonna score. I mean, you look at what the Mercury have done just points wise, scored high in the 80s, 90s the last couple of games. So that's where I would lean more the total versus a side in this one.
Yeah, I like that too. Because the Mercury actually don't play a lot of high total games. They can score. They're able to keep up with teams, especially if AT is running nicely. But like, I think they would prefer games to be a little more low scoring. So I think the total is kind of more indicating of the fact of the Sparks like to run. They're one of the fastest teams in the league, especially at home. Plum likes to push the tempo. Rakia Jackson's been nice too, especially recently scoring the basketball as well. So I like the over. I think it's a good spot. I think the 180 points could be on the table tonight. Maybe this game goes to overtime because these two teams, as we mentioned, the Mercury don't need this game as much, but they definitely need to keep catching some dubs as they move into the last little portion of the season to stay in that top 4 to 5 range. And the Sparks have to win this game. They need every W they can going into what's going on into the last little portion of the season. On the Mercury side, though, like I said, I'm with you on the AT play. I'm going with Satu, though. I haven't bet on Satu Sabally. I used to bet on her a lot to start the season. She was one of my favorite players to follow. Kind of fell off a little bit, but now she's kind of back to cooking. I'm taking her PR here. This is more about the matchup. Like we said, and like we just talked about, both teams like to score. Both teams like to run. And I think Satu is going to take advantage of this defense on the Sparks side of things. She's had great games against them previously. In the game against them earlier this season on the 1st of June, she had 24-9. The game previously before that, 25-5. And in the game last season against this team, even though she was on the wings, she scored 19-5. I think it's a good matchup for her. She's obviously going to take advantage of it. Coming off a little bit more of a nicer stretch of games, as in that sarcasm. She hasn't hit this in 4 straight. So I'm kind of in a little bit of a bounce back spot here. I think she's going to take advantage of this Sparks defense, even though Stevens and Hamby are great players. Obviously, Brink coming off the bench, giving them some size as well. I think that we're going to continue to see kind of some bad defensive play, and hopefully Statu can get the job done. Chad, if you don't have PR available on your book, you can also just take the points. It's 15.5, or if you want to just take the rebounds, it's 5.5 for a little bit of juice. So if you want to go either one of those directions, like both individual props, or you can just take the PR with me if you want to. One more thing before we kind of gab a little more about this game. Kalia Copper also cooks the Sparks. I would like to mention her 14.5 points. A little juicy for me. It was like -135. She's also coming off a couple not great games shooting the basketball. So she's due for a little bit of a bounce back as well. But she's had 20 pieces against this team when they played earlier this season. Also, if I remember correctly, let me just pull this up real quick. I think she didn't play them because she was out for a good portion of the season. Yeah. So both of her games, both of her games earlier this season, she didn't play because she was out. So both of these games are from last year. So, I don't know if that matters or not, but Copper has had some good ones against this pretty bad Sparks defense as well. So what's your thoughts on Plum? I was looking at her lines too. Been really good the last 5 games. She's been scoring like crazy. Her 19.5 points was definitely something that piqued my interest. You got any thoughts on Kelsey today? Besides playing better defense.
Yeah, playing better defense, Kelsey. The only thing is, like, whenever I like games to go over the total or to be high scoring or fast pace, I always tend to lean towards overs. You said 19.5. I mean, that's she's gone over this in quite a few. I mean, at least five her last 5 games. When I don't know what happened in that Valkyries game where she had 4 points. I bet on her that game, so that was extremely disappointing. Like, seriously. And I don't bet on Kelsey a lot, but that was awful.
Don't you love when you look at the graph and you see all the green and the 20 point and hitting all the lines, and you see that one little dip and you're like, oh yeah, I bet on them that day. Great. That was fun.
And I oftentimes like go through it and I say, okay, well, like, she's hit this when she's played this many minutes, right? So every time she's played at least 30 plus minutes, she's gone over 20 points. She played 34 minutes in that game. So that's a complete outlier game of, like, she just sucked. I think she can. I mean, I wouldn't bet her under. It would be over or pass for me on Kelsey Plum.
Yeah, I agree. I put her in a parlay, the 20 plus. I just think she's going to have to keep scoring if they want to stick around in this game. Hamby obviously is another piece of that. Well, they will have to run the ball through. But with Alamond on the court, which obviously she's been great for this team, kind of facilitating the offense, but she's not really a scoring threat. So I think that really helped Plum. We talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That helped Plum kind of get back in that role of feeling more comfortable shooting the basketball and not having to be the main facilitator all the time. So I like the Plum points. I think that's a good spot to chat if you guys are just looking for some more action in this game, a little parlay piece, or if you want to bet that individually as well. Any other thoughts on this game? I kind of lean, the more we talk about it, I kind of lean with the Mercury. I feel like they're going to come in and get the job done here, but I like the Sparks team, so it kind of is like definitely a pass, but I don't know. My head's telling me Mercury, my heart's telling me Sparks. So
that's kind of how I feel too, especially with the desperation for the Sparks of like the standings and the needing to win.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not exactly enough for me in the spot with if this was the last 2 games of the season and they had to win one of their last 2 to get in, like then I'd be more inclined to play the Sparks, but not here.
Smetty Boo. What up, Smetty Boo? Smetty Boo likes the Sparks to get the dub. Ooh, little cheeky plus money. All right, Smetty Boo. Also, what's up, Smetty Boo? How's it going? Also, yes, Shax. Hello, who's this guy? Where has he been? What's been going on?
Yeah, everyone's, I mean, you disappear and the chat loses its mind.
Oh, to be honest with you, Kate, I've been on this channel now for 2.5 years, and that is this last 4-day stretch is the longest time that I've never not been on a show.
Really?
Well, actually, I went on a vacation in February, but I was still kind of fairly active. But this was the longest time that I was pretty radio silent. So that's why they were like,
that's fair
what's
then.
going on?
Yeah.
It works out. Cool. Well, those are the 2 games for you guys tonight. Even though there's only 2 games on the matchup situation, both of these games, massive. This is Eddie. He works for us at Betting News. That's nice. I like your username, Eddie. Let's go. Cool. He wrote about this game as well. You guys can go peep the scribbles. Actually, he wrote about the Storm game. You guys can go peep the scribbles on what he had to say at bettingnews.com and get involved over there as well. We got a lot of content for you guys, all for free, available at bettingnews.com. Go check it out and get involved with everything we have across all the socials as well. Kate and Shags and Colby recorded today the first episode of the new college football podcast that we're going to be having throughout the entire football season. I'll get the word from you. I talked to those guys. How did it go? Did you have to keep them in check, or was it all right?
I had to keep him in check a little bit. Colby gets a little loud at times.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know, right?
I've never heard of that ever happening. Ever.
No, this was the first time I've ever heard him be this loud. But it was very fun. I think it's going to be a very fun show going forward. We kind of rifled through a bunch of games, but a lot of very good actionable stuff. We're going to win a lot during college football. At least that's the plan. We'll see if things go according to plan, but it was fun.
Good stuff. The old College Try, the new podcast breaking down all of things college football between now and January, I guess, is when the championship is. So get involved with that. It'll be going live on YouTube and on Spotify, wherever you listen to all your favorite podcasts every Thursday. That will be available for you guys. Episode 1 dropping this Thursday. So look out for that coming very soon. Yep. You guys will give it the old College Try. We'd love to see it. We'll also have, just to give this real quick before we cook a parlay for the end of the show, we have a new football show coming next week as well. A little bit of sprinkle, some fun for you guys too. Chat Gridiron Gang returns this Sunday. Ooh. Vibes are high as the football is right around the corner. So vibes are high right here on the channel. If this is your first time being here, give us a follow on YouTube and on Twitch. We go live every single day, having fun with you guys, talking bets, talking about the sports world, and trying, as Kate said, trying to win you guys some money. But
yeah, we do our best.
We do our best. We do pretty well, I think. Yeah. We do all right. We do some fun. All right, back to business. Speaking of winning, let's have some fun here. What are we thinking for the parlay? I think let's do a 3-legger. Let's do like a nice little 3-legger if we can agree. I feel like we got to go with Thomas, right? We're both on it.
Yep. I think we have to do something, Thomas.
I don't hate the PRA if you want to go that direction.
All right.
So I'm not opposed. I think we go PRA or RA.
What's the RA?
It was 17.5. Let me just double check here real quick. I think it is still 17.5. It was between 17.5 for some juice or 18.5 for plus money.
Let's go 17.5. Let's go RA 17.5.
Okay.
Let's go Storm money line. Should we throw that in?
Yeah, I can get down with that. All right, hang on. Let me just pull up the RA here real quick. Still 17.5 minus 136. That's cool. Okay. Storm money line. I can get into that. Now, you want to go Malonga points?
Yeah.
Or rebounds? Watch her have that Kelsey Plum game of forgetting how to play basketball. No, can't put that out there. All right, Storm, money line. Let me pull up here. You want to go points or PR?
For Malonga?
Malonga. Uh-huh.
You pick. She's your girl.
Here we go, chat. This is where the bag gets fumbled. Let's go points, 12.5.
All right, I like it.
I think that's doable. All right, so that's plus 340 for those 3 legs. Seattle Storm, money line, Dominic Malonga, 13 plus points, and then Alyssa Thomas over 17.5 rebounds and assists. Just plus 340 get it moving for you enough? Is that all right?
I like it. It's good.
It does the job. Nice little. This is just like a nice little week starter. I know Monday was yesterday.
Crazy here. Yeah.
No, you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to go crazy at all. There you go. There's your W3 for the day. Storm money line, Dominic Malonga over 12.5 points, and then Alyssa Thomas over 17.5 rebounds and assists for plus 340. Sprinkle it how you want. Bet all of them individually. We've given you the analysis on why we like each individual prop and individual bet. And now you guys can take it and pick your own parlays. You guys have been getting smarter and smarter, giving us all the moves all the time. Ooh, Krusty Krab, cashier is thinking. He's thinking about what he wants to do. All right, there we go. We'll lock that in there. Now, I know Owen's going to come in here chirping in a second, Kate. So let's go ahead and just get after this. Let's do a little fun, a little cup of coffee, a little sprinkle, because we've been getting super close on these lottos. And both of these games do mean a lot. So hopefully we get some good games. What do you just? There's something that just.
I think we got to go with Thomas triple double. If we're going lottery.
Yeah. You'll learn this about me when we talk NBA. When we do the NBA show, when Sauce Team truly comes back, if I don't bet a triple double, you know that I've been abducted by aliens. So I'm always down. Let's throw that in here. Plus 320. So 320 AT, like it, love it. Should we go Kelsey Mitchell in the other game?
Yep, I like that.
25. Let's see what her 25 is. Plus 186. That does the job on that one.
Yeah.
Malonga double.
Yeah.
Or I really like Satu's points, and that kind of ties in with Thomas because then, assists.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. Yeah, let's go Satu. Let's go Satu.
Satu's points plus 255. Wow. Kalia Copper plus 182 for 20 plus as well. Like I said, she cooks.
I kind of like. I love.
Should we go Copper?
Let's go Copper. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll go Copper. All right. Plus 2690.
There you go.
That's a nice little 3-legger. All right. So Kelsey Mitchell, 25 points. Just to, keep the fever in the game, Kelsey. Just keep doing what you've been doing. And then swing into the late game. That's De'Erica Hamby. That is the wrong player. Glad I double checked myself. Kalia Copper. Imagine I did that and then cooked the wrong thing and told you guys. Yeah, that would be bad. Kalia Copper, 20 points, and then AT for a nice little TD to get us rolling. That's plus 28.48. So you lost a little bit of value, but that's okay. It'll be a great clippable moment if Copper doesn't score 20 and Hamby does, and that's the only thing that sells. And we had it put together, and it just didn't get.
That will be worse than Kelsey Plum scoring 4 points when
Has that happened to you a lot? Where you book a player and then
way more often than I would like to admit it does. Yes.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the reason I stopped betting baseball, because the amount of times that I would bet a guy to hit his bases in a home run and he didn't do it, and then he would do it again the next day, and you can only bet the next day theory so much until you're just like, I am literally this is no fun anymore. So yeah,
that always happens to me with home runs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the next day is always when it happens, but how many times can you really keep betting that? Apparently enough.
It happens a lot to me in the NBA too, but I'm down to sweat out that for 82 games for sure. All right, plus 28.48. Kelsey Mitchell, 25 points. Kalia Copper, 20 points, and then ATTD to round that out. Nice little 3-legger. Cup of coffee, gumball, buck, 25 cents. Doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, have some fun. Or don't bet it at all. It's up to you guys. It's your money. Do what you want with it. I'll tease this for the chat before we get out of here, Kate, in the next few minutes. Kate will be having her own show very soon, right here on the channel. You guys are going to have Kate for a full hour giving you guys the moves. That's all I'm going to say right now. We're still in the planning process, getting the vibes rolling, but Kate will have her own power hour for you guys a couple times a week as we get into the NFL and then the NBA, because I know you're really into the NBA as well.
Yeah.
Is the NBA your best sport, do you think?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Props, right? Or do you do sides too?
No, I do sides and totals in the NBA. a little bit more than props. I do props in NFL. I mean, I certainly do props in NBA too, but sides in the NBA is kind of my bread and butter, which is the harder of the two. But we'll have a little mix of all sorts of things in this show coming up. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah. Vibes are going to be very high when she gets rocking and rolling. It'll be a little bit chat, so don't get too excited, but it's coming soon. Coming very soon. All right, great stuff today. We appreciate you guys tuning in here on the network. Feels good to be back. I haven't talked in a microphone in like 4 days, which feels
glad to have you back.
Thank you. Good to be back with you. All right, let's run through what we cooked up today. Like I just said, we're having some fun with this little 3-legger. If you guys want to put a cup of coffee on something, Kelsey Mitchell, 25 points in the first game for the Fever, and then Kalia Copper, 20 points for the Mercury, and then Alyssa Thomas, triple-double. Then the 3-legger, the regular guy, if you want to put a little more on it, depending on how you guys bet, or, do what you want. Seattle Storm on the money line to get the job done, stick around. Dominic Malonga over 12.5 points, and then Alyssa Thomas over 17.5 rebounds and assists for plus 340. Kate, take it away. Give us the plays that you guys talked about, on the show just before we wrap up here.
Yep. I like the Storm minus 4.5. 3.5. I got it earlier today, but for those that can only get it right now, 4.5 is just fine. And then Alyssa Thomas over 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I like her to cook once again tonight.
Hell yeah. And then I am on Dominic Malonga, tying in with that Storm play as well, over 19.5 points and rebounds. Keep cooking, young lady. Keep doing that thing. And then in the second game, I am also on Alyssa Thomas's, not PRA, but I'm on her RA at 17.5 for a bit of juice. I do like the 18.5 at plus money if that's what you're looking at on your book. And then Satu Sabli over 21.5 PR minus 120. Love the ladder as well on her points if you want to go that direction to get involved with Miss Satu today. Gonna be fun. We're getting down to, I know we've said this a few times, but now we're really getting into the nitty gritty. Like all of these games starting to really mean something. Next week, we're gonna be talking like last couple games of the season. Next week, playoff picture is going to be starting to come clear next Tuesday, and then we're going to be into the playoffs, which is going to be a hell of a ride. So vibes are high. If you guys like betting the WNBA, and as I mentioned, if this was your first time here, come back with us every Tuesday until the end of the season. But stick around. We go live every day talking all things sports and having fun with you guys across the network. It's been a pleasure. Anything else before we get out of here?
That's all I got.
Let's go.
Fun night of games.
Hell yeah. Big thanks to our sponsors at Bet Online. You guys can use this QR code right next to my face if you guys want to go check out everything they have and so much more. You can scan for a deposit bonus. And go check us out on all social medias. Get involved with everything we have at bettingnews.com for free. Go check out our TikTok as well. You can hear Mr. Marcio yell. You can hear Kate talk a little bit more sensibly. You can hear Danny give all of his free. I love Danny Burke, man. So Danny texted me right before I left to go to Calgary, because in Calgary I couldn't bet the entire time I was there, which was fine. I was way too busy. And Danny was like, "Hey, I posted my TikTok on the tour championship in the golf last week," and I was like, "Great, man, sounds great, looks awesome, sounds good." And I was like, "What's the move? Who am I betting? Because I'm gonna tail." And he was like, "Tommy Fleetwood, man, he's getting it done."
So you had that to sweat out all week. Finally, Tommy Fleetwood gets it done.
Paid for the drinks, baby. Paid for the drinks.
What was that number?
14-1 to win. And then I bet him also to finish top 10. So I covered the top 10, obviously, with a little half unit guy. And then I put a little cup of coffee on him to win the whole thing. So yeah, Danny Burke, thanks for paying for the drinks. Yeah, appreciate it. I appreciate you. But go check out our TikTok. Obviously, go check out all of our content across those socials. We try to give you guys the moves for some fun and for free. Can't really beat it. So Kate will be back with us tomorrow on Up Your Units with the lads, getting ready for college football. They just talked about it a lot on the podcast. They'll be talking about it live with you guys tomorrow on Up Your Units at 5 o'clock Eastern. Real quick before we leave, any preliminary, give me like your favorite first thought for tomorrow. Give a little sprinkle for the people what you talked about on some of this other stuff. You got any crazy moves? Ooh.
Hook 'em.
Archie starting them off. Archie starting them off early, eh?
I like Texas. I like that at least week 1. Whether they cover, money line, props in that game, that's what we call a little tease in the biz. We'll tell you those things, those details tomorrow.
That's a hell of a tease. And on the podcast, a little bit of everywhere. Eddie Bong, you missed the last hour. They talked all about the baseball. So go watch the replay when we get out of here. So you can go check out everything they had to say about the baseball, the diamond. But this is the basketball show. So go follow Kate on social media at Kate Constable. Go follow myself at Sweatpan Jesus. Get involved with all of our content, like I said, here at bettingnews.com. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us, and you guys came for the winners and you stayed for the vibes. Kate will be live tomorrow with the lads on Up Your Units. I'll see you guys on Thursday on Betspresso. Have a fantastic Tuesday night and enjoy everything that's going on in the WNBA tonight. Catch you in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? Riding in the deep. Down in the deep.
Now I know y'all be loving this shit
What
right
you know
here.
about rolling, rolling, rolling.
What you gonna do?
Rolling, rolling.
What you gonna do?
Down in the rolling, rolling, rolling.
What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit.
What you know about